You might be doing the cardio, the strength, the stretching, and your body might be giving you feedback that it's not working. It might have been working when you were younger, but things have accumulated in your body, and those things that worked when your body was really functional doesn't seem to work anymore. So today we're going to talk about fitness, and it's an important thing for taking care of your body and maintaining your well-being. What we're really all about is maintaining longevity of moving your body for as long as you can and preventing rapid degeneration. If you're anything like us, we've had some similar experiences, and that's where we got into somatic work. And so we'll open up conversation about that and how we can look at the yin side, the internal side of taking care of our bodies, because often mainstream fitness focuses so much just on the yang aspects of the body, the muscular system, all the stuff on the surface. But there's so much more in the body that we can address, and that if it goes unaddressed, well, then it can lead to all sorts of dysfunction. Would you like to lead off with what we're talking about, Marcus, with some of your experiences?
Yeah, if I just go back many years from my personal experience, I tried so hard to do all to stay healthy, to stay fit, to stay strong. And as you mentioned, from the outer perspective, it seemed so that these things were happening. If I look back at the weights I was able to lift and the muscles I gained and the cardio things I was able to do, it looked like I'm fit, but deep inside me, it felt like shit in many moments. So I just felt like, okay, something is missing. And all the studies and all the trainer licenses I did, I felt stuck. And yeah, in a way, this is where I got in contact with you. And you just showed me a different world. And this is what we are talking about today, to really realizing movement starts from the inside out. And if you are not able to connect deeper to ourselves, deeper to the body, we are not able to perceive what's happening.
Mm.
All the movement patterns, just from a biomechanical perspective, they are really hidden away. They are driving in the dark spot, and we are not able to perceive why this movement is hurting, because we are not able to feel which muscles are overtensed, which muscles are not activated, where fascia is stuck.
It reminds me of I love speaking with older people, particularly those who have aged gracefully, and learning from them and hearing about what's important and how they got to that place, and taking understanding how to take care of their body is always a part of it. One thing that I've continued to hear is about, as we age, like, we still feel youthful often in our mind, but then the body, like I was talking with a guy in his 80s, and he's like, well, I still feel like I'm 20, but my body can't do the same things. And I definitely agree, like, the body changes, and also it doesn't mean that, like, we then have to degenerate so steeply. But I often see that when I work with people as well, of when they are experiencing physical challenges, there's a belief of, like, well, I used to be able to do all this stuff, so now I should be able to still do it. And then, like, we try and do it and push against this body that has changed because of the modern society that we have, which you don't need to move unless you are intentional about it. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, then we go to move, and we're not able to work with the body as it is. So the mind is in a different place to the experience of the body, and it's not able to connect.
That's true. This is what I often see in my group classes and also working with clients. They wanna do a specific movement, like a simple thing, touching the ground with the hands. And they can see it in their mind, but the body is actually not capable of it. And then they try to push the body into this position.
Mm.
And with this, they just purely ignorant and not really respecting where the body is.
Mm.
Because so many years they didn't use the body in this movement pattern. And now they have this fixed idea and then they want to do it right now.
Yeah.
And if they are not able, they are pissed.
Yeah, but we can
Maybe
start.
guilty or ashamed, and then they push even harder.
Yeah, yeah, and then becomes like our body is our enemy, because
Yeah,
it's trapping my mind for the things that I want to do,
yeah,
and and this is where I think a lot of the internal somatic and like yin based practices are really healthy for our mind because in a way it helps us like come back to the present and really honor where we are rather than where we think we should be, and
yeah.
brings us back into the present. And that's not always easy. It can sometimes be confronting because you see yourself in that process.
Yes.
And yet there's beauty in that wherever we can get to with our bodies in the present, it's kind of can bring us into this place of reverence for what has my body been through, up until this point, and all of the experiences that I've had with it. And then it can open a space of, okay, well, how can I work with it now? What's it actually need?
Yeah,
How can I catch up with that and honor, and I think from that point both of us have been on a similar journey in a way of like coming full circle with fitness, and by no means is, when we were talking about mainstream fitness not working, is it saying that there's anything inherently wrong with mainstream fitness approaches. it's
mm,
it's more a consciousness in the way that it's approached, that it's very external, which can disconnect us from our own internal needs. But we can still keep strengthening the body. We can still keep stretching the body. We can still keep, like our cardiovascular health up. We can still do all of those things and nurture where we are rather than
yeah.
overriding just to get this external achievement of I'm fit because I ticked these boxes,
Yes.
but I didn't pay attention to. It's like I climbed a mountain and at the top my knees were busted, and all of these things, rather than paying attention to the quality of the journey. I was talking with one of our members who recently just did a race, and like a triathlon style race, and
Yeah.
he's had a history of hernias and injuries from doing these events over the years and pushing his body, and because he wanted that experience of like accomplishment, like I can do it. And it was really wonderful to hear of his experience. He's like, you know, I don't know how I placed, but it was such an enjoyable experience of like I was aware of my body, and I was aware of like when I started to get stressed and how I could actually be with that and keep kind of relaxing into this experience that was still hard. But then at the end, my body wasn't broken down. And
Yeah.
yeah, that was a really wonderful example of how we can still do these things that place demands on the body and challenge ourselves, but doing it in a way that really nurtures us at all levels.
And maybe the hardest part in the beginning, if someone is just starting out with more yin-based focuses, it's just an ego crusher. It's like you think you can do this, and when you really start feeling into your body will tell you what's really happening. It's just like all your illusions you projected on yourself and on your body, they will just
Yeah,
get diluted. And this is in the beginning maybe painful for the person who thinks he or she is this person. But in the long term, this is the freeing process where we really open up and the body is able to do even more things more gracefully and really on longevity uh, based terms.
I think a really useful entry point into these practices is, stillness based, like active meditative practices like standing meditation, even practicing things like the horse stance, like spending some time, even if it's just 5 minutes a day, just being still with your body in active postures without trying to get them perfectly aligned, but then just noticing simple things of like, how do I carry myself? How do I carry my body? What are the habits of posture that are there? And I think that's where that internal focus comes in, of rather than trying to grind through something or seeing something that's like, oh, okay, my measure of success is just like the weight that I lift and how sore my muscles are the next day. It
Means I'm capable of.
Yeah, it then becomes more about, okay, noticing how I interact with my body as these different sensations come up. Can I actually relax into the experience? And that's a really powerful thing that happens with meditative practices, is it's not like it makes us more calm or more peaceful. Like meditation is not like a thing that you do. It's an outcome of going through, like facing all of those things. Then we become meditative with whatever is there. And
Yeah.
and like that's one of the things, like when we start to become still in the body and particularly practice that, all of our stuff comes up, all of the tension and all of the habits and patterns and things that are causing us pain and challenge is there for us to see. And then we get to look at it and actually like accept the experience. And through that process, then we're no longer, like, we can see how to undo it and how we're doing it to ourselves. And it's
Yeah.
a really humbling but beautiful process that can happen. But it's a really unique thing, I find, of that question of like, amidst the challenge, how can I relax into this?
Yeah. And
And
it's just stay more in the observer perspective
yeah,
to see what's happening.
yeah.
Yeah, as I mentioned, it's just like standing meditation. If I go back in onto my journey and I remembered one session where I just did the basic posture like holding the ball, which is referred in Qigong.
Mm,
And after 3 minutes, it felt like my arms will fall away because all my shoulders and everything was really sore. And then there was this thought coming up, okay, Marcus, you're able to bench press 100 plus kilograms. You're able to do handstand push-ups and all that stuff, but you're not capable of holding your arms in space for 3 minutes. And this was very humbling, and this really kicked off my journey. This is where I really got triggered to go into these things on a deeper level.
mm. It's bringing the yin and the yang in together and having some awareness of, you know, inside of us, we've got our fascia system, which connects with every system, all of our organs. Uh, of course, our breathing then illuminates our entire body. And so internal practices bring the awareness and focus on these things, and then we can apply them to more challenging external based strengthening practices and all of these sorts of things. And so we then can be strong externally, but also internally.
And the beauty in this, we have to do less work for external strength because we are able to feel what's really happening. And with this, we can just place a training stimulus right on point
Yes.
without overdoing and without underdoing. It's just like being more efficient.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something that animals seem to inherently understand, of, like they stretch their body like particularly when you like watch a cat or a dog, they're very efficient and direct but consistent with that daily body maintenance. They're inherently attuned to their body anyway because of how they need to navigate their environment. And so I think that, this can be a useful way of looking at it. So is there any parting words that could be useful that you'd like to share with us?
Uh, yeah, maybe just an invitation to check out the standing meditation course we have in our app
Yeah.
to really start observing how the body is trained and used to do different movements and
Mm.
using postures to just get a reference for the actual patterns, and then also clearly see this is just the accumulation of my past, how the body learned to do stuff, and from there we can just build a new body
Mm.
with different muscular and tensional habits.
Yeah, yeah, we can regenerate in the body. And so yeah, if you'd like to learn more, come check out Movement Plus. And one of the great things is you get us to coach you through the process as well. And you can send us a message anytime with all of those courses as well. So thanks for being on the journey with us. We'll see you in another video.
Bye bye.